that's fine. I just basically yesterday I had a look at your Instagram and obviously you told me a little bit about your journey and your career, and how yoga has just impacted your life for a better quality of life, I guess, and just where you were. And I guess I kind of resonated a little bit because I used to be crazy about cars. I used to spend so much money on them.
Really?
Yeah,
Nice.
100%.
What did you have?
Oh, I had not like Mustangs or anything good, but I just like all four drives. I used to pick up some old ones and do it up, and just spend so much money on it. And I think overcompensating. When I had the money, I just wanted to, put so much money into it. So I kind of resonated a little bit in your story, and you were saying, had a job, you worked your ass off, had a family, got the money, and then you weren't not happy. I don't want to mismatch your words. I'm just trying to remember what I read, but it was just where is it? I'm trying to hold my phone up. Talking about like childhood trauma and can't control emotions. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, you're 100% spot on there. It's like going through that process of having all these things that make me feel like I'm happy, and then realizing that I had no idea what the fuck happiness was. And that's scary. It's scary from societal views. I had everything that's supposed to be happiness, and I didn't understand my tendencies, my latent tendencies that I had, my internal strife that I had. I never faced it or focused on it or integrated it. And so, it caused me to lash out and be angry and drink too much and, lose my temper. And so, yeah, that's fantastic. That's spot on with what you're saying.
Oh, cool. Thank you. Yeah, no, it's just, I'm so bad sometimes, not bad, but like when I talk to people, it's just, I'm fine on Instagram and doing stories. Then when you talk to people, you're just like, I don't know, your whole body just kind of shuts down. You're like, I had questions. I get confused.
It happened to me this morning because I did a podcast with Man Cove Wellbeing, and the gentleman he has a beautiful accent, and he is so well spoken, and he is so fluent and flowing in his speech. And normally I am quite good at that as well. But at his first question, it just went off, and I was like, yes, I do yoga and I like it. And I'm like, oh my God, like, what the fuck are you doing? And then like 10 minutes in, I was like, oh, there's my brain.
Can we just stop this and then move to that part where I spoke normally, please? Okay, cool. Thanks.
Exactly. Oh man.
Oh, it's so hard, and because I'm very vulnerable on my Instagram, talking about my anxiety, my depression, my ADHD. It's very hard because I'm ongoing seeing psychologists, psychiatrists at the moment, trying to get a better diagnosis of who I am and I guess stabilize my medication. And I'm getting a lot of people like giving me good content and giving me good feedback, but then there's some people that are bots and like abusive comments, and you just don't know who you're speaking to. So for me, I like reaching out and just hearing people's story, because it's not about me. My journey is about hearing other people, and obviously childhood trauma is a big one. And that's when I saw your account and I was like, this would be amazing just to touch base. And I'm such a bad, I can't speak today. I'm very inconsistent with yoga. I say, oh yeah, namaste, I'm perfect, I'll do it. And then 4 weeks later, I can't even touch my toes, Brett. So very inconsistent.
Yeah. That's no worries too, man, because what I found is that most of us in society are overachievers, and so we think we have to do a tremendous amount to get a return. Whereas 5 minutes, starting out 5 minutes for a week can build you a practice that in 3 months you'll be at 15 minutes. And that's not some amazing amount, but 15 minutes once a day, every single week can change your life. And so I found that people want to get into it and they go, I'm taking an hour class today, I'm taking an hour class tomorrow. And then by Wednesday, they're burnt out. And so what I try to do in my programs is just help people understand that, be patient with yourself. And let's just start out with 10 minutes a day. And most people, they have this funny look on their face and they're like, I'm paying you a lot of money to tell me to do something for 10 minutes a day. I said, please trust me, this will work. And then 1 week in, only 1 week, they're going, how does this happen? Why do I feel so much better? Why do I have less anxiety? Why does my body feel better? Why do I feel calmer? And I explained to them, because it's a process that you're building a solid foundation. And with that foundation, your body and your mind are being integrated. And because you're not overexerting yourself, you found that nice medium place. And so I completely understand what you're saying, because most of us in our society, we're overachievers. And so we want to do instead of allowing our body and mind to integrate and take the time. So I understand exactly.
Yeah, no, it's called, let me see if I get it right, Soul Works Garage. Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful.
Play on cars for sure, you know. I always wanted to own a import garage, you know, where you build race cars. And then I was like, wow, what if I build people instead? That would be way cooler.
Yeah, that's huge. And like, I think you're based in America, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think I was looking at it, talking about breath work, and I was learning about, it was a self-sabotage workshop. It was actually based in America. Her name's Ashley Buden. And she had like 30 speakers, motivational speakers all throughout, journal writing, meditation, learning how to rewrite your trauma, which it just blew my mind, Brett. Like all the stuff that I was told as a kid and by parents and by teachers, it actually caused me to have negative self-worth. And whenever I got fired from a job or broken relationship, I used to go, why me? This is always happening to me. And I kind of got aware when I was I'm 25, about 15 to 18, really what my story was and what I was telling myself who I was. So I think a lot of people can pay $2,000 for an iPhone, but they can't put 10 US currency dollars to learn about breath work. It's just, and that's why I wanted to interview you, because I want to get this on my Instagram, on Zoom. So I appreciate that, because I want people to know, regardless where you are or globally, there's people out there actually want to help and not rip you off, but actually care about you. So yeah, no, it's amazing what you're doing to go from mechanic. I think you're a hockey player.
Yeah, so I played hockey like the first third of my life, and I actually got a full ride to a $40,000 prep school, so a high school, which is straight up a hockey high school. And I was there for 2 years until I self-sabotaged that as well. They named me captain the second year, and I was getting tremendous grades, and I realized, oh, I don't deserve this. I'll fucking blow this up before it blows me up. And I just lit the fire and left.
Yeah,
so
wow,
that's a steady pattern I had for a long time until I dove deep into healing my inner child. And that came from yoga, you know, that came from connecting the movement with the breath. And then as I did that, I got to my mind, and then my mind started to give me glimpses of what's going on. And then my emotions started to come. So it's an interesting pattern we create for ourselves. And I agree with you 100%. It's built into us, and we're never given the tools.
Yes.
How to dismantle it.
Yeah. And emotional regulation, I struggle with personally. That when I was a kid, I used to have tantrums and breakdowns, and then I got sent to the room or sent to another area of my school away from all my friends, saying, look, you're going to I think it's called Responsible Thinking Center. And then that didn't teach me anything. It was just like, all my mates laughed at me. They go, oh, you're misbehaving. That's cool. So all this built up anxiety and frustration, it never got self-soothed. So that turned into all I knew kind of thing. So you're 100% right when it's built into us and we don't have tools.
Yeah. So yeah, spot on, man.
Yeah.
But good for you. I mean, it's amazing. I see what you're doing, and we're always going to find people who allow the things that torment them to create the environment that torments those around them so they feel better about themselves. So, and I found that a lot as a mechanic when I started doing yoga. A lot of the guys that were very insecure about their sexuality, insecure about their relationships, they would come at me and be like, yoga's stupid. That's for gay people. Like, what are you doing that for? What are you? And I'm like, hey, I am cool with everybody. I have no problem what someone's sexuality is. B, I have 4 kids. And C, you can see my hot wife. So, like, where are you going with this? Because it doesn't make sense. It just makes you seem and look and show your insecurity. And when you say that to people, they don't appreciate that, because it just gets right to the point. And I try not to do that because I don't want to push people in that way. I want to kill them with kindness is the best way I can say it. I want to very nicely rope them in and then display to them a little bit different perspective. Like, oh, you just said that really nasty thing to me. All good and well. How are you feeling about this? And then it just immediately makes that tendency to stop and go, why would he say that? You know? And so instead of giving negative reaction to a negative reaction, it's trying to find a different route. So I understand what you're saying. And it sucks that people act like that, man. Like, it's just like, you're already trying your best. Like, you're putting your best self out there and being courageous with an open heart and saying, look, this shit is real. We need to understand it better and approach it in a different manner. And people of that nature that come at you that way, it's because they're insecure. You know, it's because they don't know how to deal with their emotions. How can you put your emotions out there when I can't even deal with the fact that every once in a while when I'm happy, I don't know why I'm happy and I don't deserve to be happy. You know, so it's sad that people do that, but that is our society and that's what we're taught.
Yes. Wow. It's something, I'm not sure if you've heard of Gary Vee, but he was talking about history and mankind and how we talk about ourselves. And he's an entrepreneur, and I watch him a lot because he's just so truthful, just like what you're saying. Like America, my brother lives in San Francisco. I've been there for about 5 years, and every time there's a school shooting, the riots or anything like that, I just always check on naturally, say, can you please mark yourself safe on Facebook, or can you message us because of time zone and whatnot? But yeah, no, it's just something that's just, it's weird. We've got coronavirus, and then straight away, you know, a person dies from police brutality, and then we're switching it. So it's like we're so quick to get on Facebook and say all cops are assholes. And I saw your post, and it was really cool. It was really cool. I've seen that guy shopping for that guy on Facebook. You know, all people that are, you know, from that color, you know, they are, you know, they steal. Like, it's just the stigma. I've worked with a lot of vulnerable people, Brett, like people Indigenous. I've worked with people that have been in jail for the wrong things, and straight up in the community, they try to get better, but the world's just saying, like, for an example, you do yoga, so you must be gay. That mechanic mindset. Okay, this guy's in jail. He might be a pedophile. He might be a murderer. Maybe he didn't pay his speeding fine. Like, right. We just jump straight to that. So, yeah, I'm 25 and I'm still learning these things. People go, can't you just play video games? Like, stop analyzing me.
It's way more fun to analyze people, though. It is way more enjoyable because it's a never-ending game, right? Like, it, and not to say that it's a game like there's any winner, or that it's like a negative thing to have a game, but it's a fun way to really envelop your compassion, because the more you can analyze and understand someone, the more that you can utilize it to create a compassionate being.
Yeah, that's deep. It's very deep. And I think a lot of people, like myself, I have a lot of questions, and then when people give me answers, sometimes I don't even understand what they've said, and they're going to another question, and it's just, I think the world needs to learn how to sit in silence. And I'm a big believer that I need to learn as well. Like listening, we're so born to answer straight back. We not sit in that and go, Brett said it like this. I wonder if he meant it like this or that. Or everyone's just kind of, I don't know, in my opinion, this is just from lived experience working in the sector and learning about trauma and what I went through. Everyone seems to, like, they've been through, I'll give you an example. I went through, my parents got divorced. I went through lots of therapy. I was very stigmatized when I went back to school. I went to an all-boys school, very private school, very elite in sports. And they said, oh, I heard your parents got divorced. Double presents, double this, double that. They actually didn't check in with me and say, how am I actually going? So it's funny how, I'm sure it's in America, I'm sure it's in Europe, they're like, oh, your parents divorced, double presents, yay. I don't know, it's just, they care about the stigma of yoga, a mechanic, someone that wears a Hawaiian shirt. I love Hawaiian shirts. They go, oh, you bloody poofter, like, or gay or happy, because gay means happy. Just political correctness gone wild, Brett, really. You know, I'm really about that stigma of just breaking down barriers.
I think that's really good, man. I mean, it's a lot of what you said is really, really important to sit with. It's very important for it to allow to set in. So I truly believe that we find who we are in the space between our thoughts. And so with what you just said, you know, my parents divorced when I was really young, and it was not good. I mean, they barely can be in a room together now, and that was 20, 30, 31 years ago. I mean, like, it's 31 fucking years, but it's all good. They both love me, and I've repaired my relationships with them. Nice. But it correlates to exactly what you said, because who is coming to someone when that happens and saying, what's going on with you? How are you? And I give you a great example. So I have 4 children. When I was 20, I had a daughter in North Carolina. Didn't know about her until I moved back to Maryland. And then I got a phone call that says, you have a daughter, you know, this is what it is. So a 20-year-old, completely difficult man, you know, I didn't do the right thing at that time. I have done the right thing now. I have a great relationship with my daughter. I have twin 11-year-old boys that are half black from another woman that I was in a relationship with 6 months. And I left her. And when I left that relationship, I met my wife. I've been with my wife for 11 years now. So 6 months in a relationship, 2 months into that, I get a phone call when I'm now dating my current wife of 11 years saying, you're pregnant and they're twins and I'm keeping them. And, you know, this is what it is. So 2 years later, my wife and I got custody of my twin boys, but their mother, she struggles greatly. And she just doesn't do right by them. I mean, they don't sleep well. They don't eat most of the time that they're there. There's not a provider in that home that is structuring good things for them. This is okay. She's trying to figure it out. My job is not to fix her. My job is to help my sons. And so predominantly they're with me, but sometimes they're over there. And so I can notice the tendencies, whereas it correlates to exactly what you said. They come home and my one son feels energy just like I do. So I'm a Reiki 2, which means I can give and feel energy. I've always felt it. It's something that's a blessing and a curse. But he can feel it too. And so I can notice the shift in him where he'll be extremely upset. And instead of me going, you have nothing to be worried about, stop acting like this, just be good, I take 5 minutes, I sit down below him, and I'm like, hey man, what's going on? I already know what's happening. I know what's going through his mind. I know what he is thinking because I can feel it. But I allow him to formulate the opinion and share. So as he shares, well, I really want to spend time with my mom. And when I was there, she didn't really do anything with us. She never came out of the basement. I never saw her the whole weekend. So to that, I say, does that affect how much you love yourself? And he says, I don't know. And I say, it doesn't. You're an amazing human being. You are full of love. It's not your fault that your mother has issues and is going through things, but you are an amazing person. And you should always love yourself because you are a fantastic young man. So that's the different perspective. We can come at this in two different ways. We can immediately react, which is what people normally do. You do yoga, you're gay. You're wearing a Hawaiian shirt, oh, you're a flamer. Your parents got divorced, ooh, you get double presents. Or we can take that moment in between, that space, and we say, what's really going on here? Let me just sit with this for a second. This guy does yoga. Clearly, he was a tough guy, had that scenario. What would ever cause him to change? Well, I see his mannerisms. He's very compassionate. Oh, maybe he's trying to do good in the world. Or, hey, your parents got divorced. Let's take a few minutes here. Let me know how you're feeling. And I think it's that space in between the thoughts, in between the reactions, learning to, instead of react, to act, that can really create a better world.
Oh, you're saying so much truth here. Like, it's just, incredible what you said. Incredible. Like, I can't underestimate what you just said, because what you said to your son in that space, I'm recently speaking to a lived experience support worker. So when I was in a mental health facility for overnight, I self-harmed. I've never self-harmed before. I was in a really dark place. I lost my job. I was being bullied and harassed. Sold my car. I've moved to a different town. There's so much going on for me, and I didn't know how to cope with it. And my mum and dad have always kind of in that same aspect, obviously different. They can't really be in the same room. They're quite negative on the both ends together. And that's because they've got their own concerns. But what you said spoke so much truth in me. I think my own heart was crying, but my own eyes were listening. You were saying, like, you are loved, you are a good person. Just because what happened that weekend, that does not reflect anything on you. And I think if you said that to so many kids where I live, I think there'll be less graffiti. I think there'll be less abuse, broken relationships, because their inner child is hurting. They come from broken homes and they don't know how to self-soothe. They don't know how to self-love. And when I do say, or yourself say to these kids or these adults, these things, they go, oh, Brett, stop doing those emotional feelings on me. I'm fine. I'll have a beer with my mates. I'll talk it out. Like, that's what I've been hearing for 10 years. And it's not good enough. I've lost so many friends to suicide because they were hurting. They didn't want to die. And a lot of their families said when they saw, the body and everything and how things happened, a lot of my friends have said before they jumped, and some have lived and quite actually been paralyzed in wheelchairs. They didn't want to actually die. They just wanted the pain to go. So when I self-harmed on my wrist, right, and this is very raw and open, I just wanted the pain to go away. I was banging my head on the wall. I was like, oh, babe, my wife, Steph, I can't do this anymore. I'm worthless. I'm sick of living like this. So it's just incredible to sit in that pain. And when I went to the mental health facility here in Brisbane, I knew the first minute, Brett, I did the wrong thing. Not the wrong thing in self-harming, but I knew I wanted to be alive. I wanted to live. I had so much to give. So when I sat next to these two different people, there's a 10-year-old, broke my heart, really did. Self-harmed all over him, like really intense scars. And
a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's starting young. People don't get it. And then there was another lady that lost her partner it was a 2-year anniversary. He hung himself, and she tried that night to hang himself on the anniversary to be with him. And I was like, oh, my mind, I was like, I've done crisis counseling. This is just way too much, Brett. I was like, oh, babe, pick me up. I just want to be home. And I'm not being rude or mean to those stories, or I just knew what I did and what I need to do now. So I just thought I'd share that with you, because when my parents were divorced, I always thought they put me in these games. So go to my dad's house, have a great time, feel the energy, great meals, great movies, head back to mum's. Mum obviously was concerned about, what's he like? Is there another lady in his life, etc. And they both did it. I'm not being mean to both parents, because they will watch this. And got to be careful. No, in all honesty. And just stop me if I'm talking too fast, or redirect me. That's fine. Cool.
You're good.
So that's just me going through my mind. Oh, it's so much to talk about, because it's so amazing to get energy with you. But what really resonated about your son and the mum and the custody and all that, when I was living with my dad, my mum was saying, he's unstable, he's not well, which he wasn't. But she told me things that I probably shouldn't need to know at that time. Correct. Growing up. And then when I went to my dad, all that stuff mum told about dad wasn't actually true. So it just blew my mind. Who do I trust? Who do I love? So there's a lot of therapy. And I think if I heard what you said to me when I was a kid, I think it'd be just so loving, what you said to your son. So well done for being so emotionally available for your son, because so many dads are not. And yeah, I just think that's a big point.
I appreciate that, man. And, I appreciate you sharing with me and being open to sharing. So my thought on when people do harm themselves is we are not taught how to deal with our emotions or our anxiety. And also, we are not taught the truth about our past. So our past that we have, it lives with us, but we treat it as if, and are told to treat it as if it lives with everyone. We're told to make it be believed that everything you do is always paid attention to. Everything you do, you better not fuck up or everyone will know. But in the reality, your past and my past, they only live right here. And how we remember them is skewed because we are so emotionally involved in our own stories. And so, for example, for me, the things that I've done that are, in my opinion, deplorable. There's things that I've done in my life. I like to say I've lived 9 lives because I'm still alive, and it's fucking amazing because there's so many times that I have done things where it's just like, how did I wake up the next morning? Like, how did I make it through these scenarios? But all of those things, although to me, they're very impactful, the amplitude of them was extremely magnified because of how I felt about myself, in the fact that you're never going to be enough. You fucking don't pay attention to anything. Why do you try so hard when you know that you don't deserve any of this shit? And so every single pattern that I've had, every single moment in my past that lives in my mind directly correlates to the emotional amplitude of it. And we don't have to live that way. We don't have to follow that script anymore. We don't have to believe the societal norm that we have to be perfect and everything has to be amazing. And all the things that you do, you will pay for. That's wrong. We all make mistakes. We're all gonna make mistakes. We're all gonna live certain life situations. We learn from those situations. We grow from those situations. We integrate with those situations to become our best selves, who we are meant to be. And so changing that mental script of your past is so, so important to define who you are, I believe can help so many people, and being patient and loving with themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. Like, so many people have been told that this is their past, this is what's going to happen, and then if they do something well, say get a job, get married, have kids, straight away in their mind they're going to say, my parents divorced, I want a divorce, their marriage didn't work, you know, and they're saying that to themselves, and subconsciously they're actually self-sabotaging their marriage and their life and their stress. Like I don't have, my dad used to run workshops on mental health and stress and anxiety, and he showed me this diagram of what stress does to your body. And it blew my mind. I don't like science. Like, I appreciate it, I respect it, but I don't talk about it because I'm not I've got different opinions on it. Like, just like anything, I know what I'm good at and what I need to learn and what I leave to the experts. So, last night I had a migraine and I wasn't stressed, I wasn't anxious, and I just felt so nauseous. And because panic attacks and anxiety attacks those symptoms were so real for me last night. And I said, I had a good day. You know, I was telling myself, Brett, like, you know, everything's good. You know, why am I like this? So, I think self-love and understanding and patience for me, and what you said, everyone needs to understand that if they are anxious, it's okay. You don't have issues. You don't need to be on medication all the time. You don't need to see therapy if you don't want to. Like, it's good anxiety. Like, I went to the military interview, the police interview. I've done big interviews and big jobs, and I was sweating in aircon. Like, I was so nervous. The guy's like, "You okay?" I'm like, "I think so."
Yep.
Oh, so yeah, I think there's good anxiety, and I think you're 100% like on your path, and what you're saying speaks very true to me and what I want to do for my career, because I want to help people. I don't want to have 10 cars, $1 million homes, Gucci watches. Like, I buy a $7 shirt. You know, my phone is literally connected to like a glass holder. I'm trying to like make sure it's all professional. It's not. That's okay. Like, I'm
totally okay.
I'm owning my shit. Like, so many people, like, you're just so random, but like, you speak truth. But I think my life has always been about, I've got to have the next hit. So when I say hit, the dopamine and melatonin. So with ADHD, it's a chemical imbalance. So when I was buying those cars, when I was changing girlfriends, like, there was a lot of emotional regulation with not getting the love from mum when I needed it, and parents. You know, I wasn't getting that emotional, I guess, availability. So I was just going elsewhere. So when I spoke to my psychiatrist, I cried and cried and cried because no one told me all this. So like 10 years of my life has just been about trauma and emotion. So yeah, you're spot on with that, and learning your body. Your body tells you things before your mind does too sometimes.
Yeah, it does. And I also found that, like exactly to your point, it's okay to have anxiousness. It's okay to have anxiety. You know, we're we're taught that it's such a bad thing. We're taught that, you know, if you have it, there's something wrong with you. I don't give a shit what anyone says. Everyone has it. Everyone has it. You know, this stigma that's tried to be created around it is false. Everyone has it, and it's okay. It's also okay to recognize it and to be patient with yourself when it does happen. Because most of the time, at least in my past examples, when it would happen to me before, I'd be like, "What's wrong with you, man? Well, you shouldn't act like this. You're so lucky in your life. You're still alive. You have so much. You can't act like this. Get your shit together." When and then when I started to integrate my body and my breath and my mind, I started to feel, hear what was happening in my mind. And then as I would hear it, I would start to feel what is happening in my body. So it would be the repetitive speech pattern of, "You're not enough. You don't deserve this. You need to be better." And then I would feel it. So I would sit with myself, close my eyes, and go, "Okay, it's on. It's on." Close my eyes, deep inhale, full inhale using my diaphragm. Full exhale, just letting releasing happen, getting emotions going, and then go, "Where are my shoulders? Oh, my shoulders are up in here. They're in my neck. Shit, get those away. Where's my jaw? My jaw is clenched. I always clench my jaw. Oh, release your jaw. Where's the tendencies in your bodies, man?" And then it would be, "Oh, my stomach feels like it's in a ball that's being punched." Okay, I feel that. What is it trying to tell me? And then it would come up with some things. It would come up with different things. You know, oh, this guy looked at you and said, you don't know what the fuck you're doing as a mechanic, you know, you're an idiot, blah, blah, blah. Well, why does my stomach feel like that? Being with that sensation, it came to, oh, well, you were never taught that you are deserving and you had to fend for yourself from a young age. So because you have to fend for yourself from a young age, you were never given that stability or that foundation from a starting point. So why does that make you upset? Well, it's because of this. Okay, what's this guy doing? Well, he's just insecure because I'm 10 years younger than him and I'm twice as fast as he is, and I can fix things that he can't. All right, so that doesn't have to do with me, that has to do with him. Am I angry at him? Yes. Should I be? No. Why shouldn't I be? Because it's okay. He's sat inside. Don't treat him poorly. He can't help it. He wasn't taught. Okay. And then it goes from a 10-minute conversation with myself to a 1-minute conversation where I can stand in front of somebody and say, I'm sorry you feel that way, man. I never meant to offend you. And I hope that one day we can move past this. And then I walk away. And, you know, it's that progression of being able to sit with yourself. So.
Yeah. That's huge. I feel like I'm getting more out of this conversation than some of my appointments with like people that study the human mind for 10 years. So, and I'm not a bullshit artist. I don't like to, what do people say? I get these weird quotes people say, like, I don't shit in your pocket. I'm like, where does that come from? That's disgusting. But like, these slangs that people say, like, I'll just say, look, I appreciate you, Brett. You're so smart. Why can't we just say that? Not
right.
Yeah. That's just, yeah.
I mean, I really appreciate that, man, because the way I see it is that, like, I went through so much for a reason, right? Like,
yep.
everything that has happened to me has been for a reason. And if I can use that, what has happened to me to help others, then I think that's a really good thing. You know, I think that's super positive. And so it's trying to just be with that and understand it, you know, that it's okay to have trauma. It's okay to have suffering. But what do we do with it? Just like you're doing. You're putting it out there. I mean, that's amazing, because as you're doing that, you're helping people. There might be one kid that has the same type of feelings that you do, has the same type of attacks. And then he goes, oh man, you made it through it. I think I can make it through it. Oh, and if we were able to help one person, to me, that's impactful.
Yes. 100%. And look, I put my hand on my chest saying, I used to have really bad remember MySpace?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the top friends, you put your top friends in, and that was just, I was just really bad for people's mental health. And Facebook and Instagram, the likes, the followers, and I'm not embarrassed to say it, but sometimes and some days I get so overwhelmed, and I look at people's Instagram and I try to do the best I can, but I'm like, why am I getting upset about numbers? Because numbers is ever changing. And like money, like, why does people worry? Like, for an example, this is a really good example. You have $100 million or whatever, and someone took 50 million. And that's, why are you so upset about that? Because you've still got so much. Why let that ruin your day? So for me, with my followers and my content, it's exhausting. I'm not going to lie. It's exhausting running a group. It's overwhelming. You put your vulnerability, your family legacy on there. I don't get paid for it. I'm out of work at the moment. I'm still trying. I'll just see if I can get it. I did a sneak peek. See if I can do it. I don't know if I can. Maybe I can. Oh, here we go. Sweet. All right. So my wife is so amazing. She's my anchor. She helps me get through things. So that's me on my wedding day.
Nice.
And
that's awesome.
And that's like step one, like create a website. vision, values, contacts, testimonials. And step 2, business cards, printing, purpose. Then we go to step 3, like make bank account, insurance and all that. Then we go marketing. And then, collaborate, just like I'm doing with you today. And then end goal is be a coach, facilitator, author. So it's that vision board that helps me move Mr. Brodie to each goal.
That's awesome.
And I've got
really
you up
cool.
here, 8 o'clock, and I got up and I felt good. I was like, sweet, Brett. I'm up 7:30, had my coffee, got my toast. I try to organize my life. So got my financial goals here. Just little things to make me feel impactful. Like I love Manchester United. That's my gorgeous wife and my dog. And then this is my favorite quote. Some people want it to happen. Some wish it would happen. Others make it happen. So yeah, to sort of share a little bit about my little office and how I get to where I want, because I'm not going to lie, I went to a special education unit, so I struggled with maths, English. Teachers used to pick me up, this is actually pretty much abuse, but he picked me up by my armpits, lifted me up and started shaking me and said, you will never do anything in your life. You really hurtful things.
Right.
I had such an impact, Brett, that a teacher was yelling my name when I wasn't in the classroom. They're like, Brodie. And I was like, I'm not even there. So I guess being a class clown, which I was, because I was self-soothing from parents breaking up and just wanted to fit in. Endless, I guess, womanizing. And I'm not proud of it, but I'm proud of how far I've come, if that makes sense.
For sure.
Drinking, just hooning, just used to go out lapping and just waste my fuel and waste my time and, getting that quick hit. And now I'm doing suicide intervention calls, crisis counseling, relationship advice. It's just incredible to see where I was to where I am today. So there is hope. And just like yourself as ex-hockey player, ex-mechanic, now you're teaching people how to be mentally well in all aspects. I think that's incredible. And that's why I'm so glad that you took the time out of your day to speak to me and share your story.
Yeah, man, I think it's amazing what you're doing. And so in my opinion, a lot of the educational system fails tremendous amount of kids. And I can give you a great example. So my one son, he's an engineer. I mean, he's through and through, thinks like an engineer. Whether he wants to become one or not, I'm okay with whatever he wants to do. If he wants to be a professional dancer, by all means, go ahead. But the way that he thinks and works is my brain. He's an engineer. He wants to take things apart and he wants to put them back together. My other son, who gets fantastic grades, he loves cooking, gets fantastic grades, loves cooking. Every teacher said he is the most amazing student they have ever had. But I can tell you that they have different ways of learning. But my first son cannot stand school. He doesn't feel like he's challenged. So very similar, genes. They come from the same parents. They are born at the same time. They think and act completely differently. And they are regarded with, we're very lucky and grateful to be in a good school system. And my wife is very active in the school system. So we know all the teachers. She knows every teacher. She knows the guidance counselor. She knows the principal, all by names. And so they know our sons, but they think and act completely differently. They learn completely differently. And it would not be fair to teach them or treat them as if they were the same. And that's what's going on for a lot of these students. That's what happened to you. And it doesn't fucking work, man. And so for you to come from that, to be able to utilize what you have, make it happen for yourself, as the sign says. And to me, when people can do that, when we come from a place of brokenness, when we come from a place of despair, I came from, you came from, when we can come from those places and build ourselves, I'm not knocking anyone that has had a tremendous life and not gone through strife. I'm simply saying that from my perspective, when you can come from the dirt and build yourself, that's tremendous. And so for you to be able to do that and have your business plan set up, have a motivational space for you to be with yourself, and that's fantastic, man. And to have an end goal, which is bigger than yourself. Because
100%. Way bigger.
in my opinion, anybody can go out there and make a shit ton of money and work themselves into the ground. It takes real depth to work for the betterment of others.
Wow. Yeah. That's so true. And there's so many businesses out there, especially with COVID around where I live. How many businesses has lost everything? And it's actually, I'm not going to say it's a good thing. It's terrible. I'm really, really sad that a lot of businesses have lost homes, mortgages. They're on the streets, homelessness. But so many people now are back to plateau. So the people that are struggling, that had great messages and were really good, but they didn't have that extra skill. Like, for example, they didn't know how to market. They didn't know how to sell themselves an interview, but they still did great content and great for all the clients they saw. So I think COVID has really made people human. I think we're talking more in the neighbours, where the earth is getting much needed rest. Seeing pictures of New York, seeing all the different, like the oceans are so much fresher without people polluting it. And I'm not an activist. I love the ocean. I love human nature. I think for me, I know we need to respect where we came from. And yeah, I just think the world can be such a better place. And what you're doing, what I'm doing, what so many else people are doing, we need more people to understand what we're actually doing, if that makes sense. Because so many people are double tapping on girls and bikinis. They're double tapping on fast cars, all this good stuff. That's fine. Don't get me wrong. But if someone has got, for an example, 5.5 million views and all they post is egotistic, narcissistic photos, and there's yourself being vulnerable, teaching how people to breath work, yoga, talk about your trauma, and then, you know, I just think there's something wrong in that system. And yeah, I just think it just needs to change. But that's just me doing a rant. But I'm glad you talked about your sons in different lights of different the brain capacity, because I've got a few friends that have the same grades. I think that one of them were twins, and all the teachers used to say they taught the same way. So if you've got a learning disability like myself, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, which I'm sure you've noticed in the interview because I'm all over the place, that's passion though, Brett. Like when I go all these different areas, I just want to get it all in that one. But I'm learning. I'm learning my stuff. But teachers said, okay, let's say this book is maths and English. Okay, Brodie, you're not doing that. You're touch typing today for 2 hours. How is that fucking fair when mum's paying and dad's paying $7,000 a term for me touch typing?
Right. Yeah, that
So
it doesn't make sense. I mean, go ahead.
No, so I love your backdrop, mate. So cool, so colorful.
So I got that on Amazon for like $20.
So good.
Yeah, it's just a tapestry. But yeah, I mean, I think it's you know, I think it's sometimes important to recognize that we're okay without labels. Like, I think we're humans, and you know, I always received a whole bunch of labels, but we can be a part of them, but we don't have to like be defined by them. And so, like you were saying, you know, you like to go from here to there. To me, that's good. To me, that just shows that you're engaged. To me, that shows that you have passion. And to me, that shows that, you know, you're in touch with your soul. You know, I'm very big on body, mind, and soul. And a lot of people think that's so spiritual. And, you know, you name your company Soulworks Garage, you're so spiritual. No, I'm not. To me, it's just being real. I don't create the facade that I am not something more than a body, you know? And so I think it's awesome what you said. You recognize your tendencies. And I think it's really good too to be like proud of that shit, because it shows you're compassionate. It shows you're involved.
Yeah, 100%. And I think when I did the Myers-Briggs personality test, it showed like, and it's not, and I want to say this to everybody that rewatches this, like just because you do the test doesn't mean that's who you are and that's what you need to follow religiously, because that can put you in some danger in lots of aspects. So I was a campaigner. I think I was EFTP. So I don't like hierarchy, which I've always struggled with management, fear, and I get a lot of anxious when I go to meetings and never speak up. And that's my other things as well, learning about who I am and what I have to offer. So like my career goals was entrepreneur, social work counselling, which I've done counselling. I've stopped doing social work and counselling now, and I'm starting my own business. So I'm going to give you a little sneak preview, guys, what I want to do. Not all of it. gotta watch it, but I'm going to set up some workshops around schools, because it starts in schools. So probably grade 5, because grade 7 now is high school, because grade 8 was high school for me. So people are got phones earlier, they're having sex earlier, they're drinking earlier, they're taking drugs earlier. Like this is just, and that's okay. Like all those things are quite natural things to do to find what you like and what you don't like. I think a lot of people are shunned on, if you do that, you're that type of person. Because I've got psychiatrists, friends that I used to be ex-drug addicts, ex-sex addicts. And they're like, what? You can't help me. You got more problems than me. No, he's dealt with it and he's here to help you, just like yourself, mate. Walking, talking example of how, someone that you thought had it all, broken body and mind, and now, you're like a walking Gandhi with the beard. It's incredible,
Well done.
Thank you. That's my joke of the day. I'm done. I can retire.
Good job. That's awesome, man. I look forward to seeing what you come up with. I mean, I think it'll be very impactful, and it's nice because you've been there. You've been in that environment. You have dealt with the difficulties. You've had the highs and lows. So who better to come in somewhere? That's like I always find interesting that you find in hierarchies in large corporations. These individuals that run the corporations have never been in the shoes of the working person all the way down at the bottom. This is one point where I tremendously respect my father is he started as a produce boy, literally the boy who puts the produce on the shelves. And then he ended up retiring as the manager of the whole region of the East Coast of the produce department. He walked his way up that ladder, and he had so much respect that I would go into the stores that he worked. He overran the whole area, and I would say, like, "You're Al's boy, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, the people who were the common workers, just like I was as a mechanic, they would say, "That's a really good guy right there." Meanwhile, he's their boss's boss. So 4 rungs up. But he still always went into stores. He still always made it known that, hey, everyone's important. And it's because he's been there. And so I think it's really, really valiant what you're doing because you've been there. So who else to have the best impact than someone who's been in their shoes?
Love it. Lived experience. I put it on my resume and cover letter, that I am a lived experience advocate for mental health and learning disabilities. And if they don't hire me because of that, that's their loss. I put myself out there and I just, I think I just kind of feel what they're feeling. So I guess a lot of people get scared when they go, do you have any illness or disability? And people don't write it down. And legally, you don't have to unless it impacts your job. And for me, I know a lot of people that have got mental health. I don't like the word issues, but I guess there's just so much political correctness now, Brett. Like it's just mental health. Everyone's got mental health. It depends if it's good, in a good way, so you're living with mental health good, or you're struggling, so you're not being the best you. So I know personally there's a lot of people that have been misdiagnosed. I know a lot of people that I work with that are quite angry and abrupt. And because I've worked in it, I sometimes get it. I go diagnosing them. I'm like, you should see a therapist. But because I've seen it. But yeah, you're 100% right. I'm so excited to make this happen because my big goal was to work with my dad, and he was in hospital actually a few days ago. He had a massive seizure.
Oh no.
Yeah, he's very unwell, and the hospital setting's just not listening to him. He's saying, give me a brain scan, give me all these different things, because he suffers from epilepsy, MS, multiple sclerosis. He's had lots of trauma, had his brain, the brain treatment where you get your memory loss to get rid of the trauma. I don't know what that's called. Yeah, it's something. Electric convulsion therapy. But he's a spitting image of hard work. He was in a business without a degree. It's very unheard of now if someone doesn't have a degree to work their way up to corporation, just like your dad. And I think that's very admirable. So many people go to, I don't know, produce, and they go straight to manager. They don't do the steps. And for me, I used to work at Woolies, so I used to work as a produce assistant, and I know how hard they work. And people see people in a white collar shirt, business, they do the rosters, they do the firing, the hiring. But I'd rather talk to you or talk to your dad about hard work. You know what I mean? Because if there's a person that has got it all, and when I say this and I say it to you, what you just said as well, I'm not having to go at people that have it all. But
correct.
I'd rather talk to someone, my opinion, that's been through a lot of trauma. They're using their trauma for healing, just like yourself. Like so many people wouldn't know what it's like to live on the streets or have $1 in their bank account, or to have no friends, or to have the darkest days of their life, to want to end their life. And I see a lot of people on Instagram, they put out, they're on holidays all the time, they're smiling, they're happy. That's not life. And that's why I like to put myself in a jacket shaking, because that's what panic attack is for me.
Yeah.
So I think I've got a great wife, great dog. I'm in a great home. I've got some great friends, but that doesn't stop me from having mental health.
Correct.
At all.
Yeah, and I to your point exactly. I made a post, and I can't remember which one it was. And it was, I'm gonna be real. Like when I posted that, I cracked my head open. Like I'm literally someone that teaches people how to utilize their body better. And I posted that in playing Nerf guns with my kids, I cracked my head open. Like, if that's not a poor way to show that you're the man, and I am the best physical prowess person you've ever seen, what is? Like, I'm playing fucking Nerf guns with my kid, and instead of jumping this way, I jumped this way. I was having a good time. I'm human. I'm not a robot. I will be honest. But what it helped me to do is show people, even when shit goes wrong that you don't think is going to happen, you can check in with yourself, and you can create that calm, clear focus. I put out there what's real. If it's seen as not good marketing or bad business strategy to be real in that aspect, I don't fucking care, because I'm not looking for those people that want a facade life. And another post I put up there is please stop believing all this bullshit that you see on Instagram. These fucking people are not telling you the truth, and that's their prerogative. But don't believe that they don't have issues. Don't believe that they suffer from different things. Don't believe that they have it all figured out, because anyone who tries to tell you that they have it all figured out is fucking lying, because we don't. I don't have it all figured out. I work with what I have to help people. I've created a process that I've seen results that help people get from one place where they want to be to the next. And so I'm honest with that. And I tell everybody that I work with, I don't have everything figured out. I am learning as I go, but I know I can help you in some way, shape, or form to get to what it is that your next goal is. Let me know what it is, and we'll work through the process to get there. But to your point, it's not right for people to put out all this shit that makes it look like everything they're doing is 100%. You can't be at 100%. I genuinely believe that we can have fantastic lives. I genuinely
Yep,
believe that everyone can,
I agree. Yeah,
but it takes effort, man, and it takes some sacrifice, and it takes time, and it takes patience with yourself. And so I believe in abundance. I know I'm abundant. I know that at one point in my life, I will have a tremendous amount of money. But I also know that I'm going to give a tremendous amount of that money to people that need it. I also know that when I have a large portion of that money, it's going to go to animals that need help, rainforests that need help, indigenous people that need help, and societal members that don't have the privileges that I have with who I am. And so I think it's shifting that paradigm like we're doing to, hey, yeah, we lead from courage. We lead from the heart, like you do. I'll show you what it looks like. It's not pretty, but it's real. And if you're going through it, it's okay too.
yeah. No, that's so true. I've met some very successful people, and I used to admire them. I mean, like I used to like praise them, and then I found out what they did with their money. I found out how they treated their family, their staff, and then I met some people that didn't have a lot of money, but they were the richest people. And when I say richest people, they were just great morals, great values. They gave back. They'd give their shirt to a person if they were cold. Um, they're people that I admire, because, as you said, anyone can do a really good idea, make lots of money, and then next month be broke and be unstable and lead to alcohol or drugs. So it's time and patience that really resonated with me, because for me, my wife did that. I'm going to give her 100% credit because she's incredible. Step 1 to step 5. Honestly, Brett, I am just bullet a gate, someone on ice. Like, I don't do drugs, but like someone on ice, how fast their mind goes. I'm like, all right, wellness guy is going to go here. I'm going to do 10 interviews a week. I'm going to do this and do that and this and that and this and that. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, I need help. So just owning that. I know I'm
Yep.
passionate. So, okay, Brett, on Sunday, speak to him. Awesome. I can put it on my Instagram. People can watch it, because this has been so transforming. Like, you made my Sunday, mate. Like, I'm just feeling your energy. And I've done a lot of exposure to Reiki with other people. I'm not a professional, I'm not trained in it, but I feel your energy, and I feel your authenticity of wanting to help people. And I guess that's why my energy connected with you. And so many people don't do a voice message. Like, I've got, I don't know, 1,200 followers. I probably know about 30, 40 of them. I try to connect with them just to go, look, this is who I am. What would you like to see on the page? Because this is about a safe place. So I want anyone to come in and go, hi, Brodie, I'm struggling with this. And then 20 people of my followers, I call them family, I hate followers, they help each other. And then I leave the group. I let them self-soothe. Like, that would be an awesome goal for me, to let my platform be a safe place.
That's
Hand on
brilliant.
heart.
Yeah, I mean, that's fantastic. And I really appreciate your words. I mean, they mean a tremendous amount to me, because if everything I say, has a lot of different things to it, what you just said is exactly what I'm trying to do. That's it. I just want to connect with people, let them feel how I feel about life, and resonate on that. And if it takes me conversations, if it takes me doing breath work with somebody, if it takes me being in a yoga class with somebody to get them to feel that, that's what I have to do. But that's it. Because what that is that I have and that I've learned to grow, it's just simply love. It's just simply having the passion for growth. And when I say growth, I mean just growth internally. It's an internal ascension to knowing and loving yourself. And so I greatly appreciate you and your honesty, and also what you're trying to do. That is way bigger than yourself, and being passionate. And I think
Mm.
it's a strong suit of yours to be so passionate and be able to go from here to here to here. I mean, I think that's
Mm.
fantastic, because if you take those things and then you were able to laser focus them, that means that you could reach your next step when it's ready for you to the best
Yes.
of your ability. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's a beautiful thing to have. And like we said before, we're not taught that. We're not taught how to focus our energy. We're not taught how to take our mind from everywhere and put it to here. And
Mm-hmm.
so, it's very nice to connect with you. And I think what you are building is a community. And
Yes.
that's fantastic, because that's what we need. We need more
Mm.
communities that build people up. We need more communities that help people. We need more communities that make an inclusive environment where everybody can come in together. Not this
Mm.
shit where like, oh, well, I'm better than you, and you're not as tough as I am, and you don't have as much money as I do. Fuck all that noise. It's,
Mm. Yes.
hey, you got shit going on, so do I. That's
Mm.
all good. Let's
Mm.
be here together in this space, and let's help each other. And if you don't want help, no problem. I'm
Yeah.
just here to sit with you and create
Yeah.
space for you. And so
100%.
that's beautiful what you are creating, and it will happen. And it will happen
Mm.
because you're being genuine. Because
Yeah.
real recognizes real. And that emanates from you, and you're not trying to put on this bullshit facade. And so with that, people will gravitate towards you. So I think it's really fantastic.
No, thank you. I really appreciate your kind words, and I honestly started the group 2 months ago. I'm not really familiar with IT. I don't know the Instagram algorithm, the hashtags. There's so much when to post. Like I just want to be free. Like obviously I've got to, if I do take the wellness guy out on the platform, there's got to be some professionalism around that, and I get that. But I just post when I feel I need to post. And for me, I need to learn when to fill my cup and when to empty my cup. So I'm learning. It's so good to post positive content and real lived experience. But then if I'm not doing that at home with my wife and my dog and my friends, I wouldn't call myself a hypocrite. I'd call myself someone that's people pleasing. Yeah. So someone that is just wanting to help the world because of, I don't want people to go through what I went through as a kid. 100%. That's why I do what I do. It's not for the money. It's not for the fame. As much as I love to travel and wear a nice suit and talk about really cool things, that's fine. We all have some part of fame that would be cool. But I've had so many conversations with kids my age said, I love how real you are because I was going to kill myself. And you were there in that space. So, yeah, I think that's why I just get so here to here to here. And I appreciate you understanding that because, to be part of that, it's not I didn't really do anything for him. I was just being myself. I didn't have a magic wand. I didn't have a counselor hat on. I was just being a person like I am here with you today, just being who I am. And that helped him. So, yeah, it was cool. It was such a, yeah, I just always think about it when I get down. I go, I want more of those feelings. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can remember also when you do get down that, well, clearly you're here for a reason, and you are doing good if you help that one person, because that's
Yep.
so impactful. And like you said, you did it just being yourself. So that's how you know in your truth what you are is enough, and it is fantastic, and it should be loved. Because in my opinion, no one, who is the one person that should love us more than ourselves? No one. Who is the one person that deserves our love? One person. It's ourselves. We are always with ourselves. We are the only person that is going to be with ourselves our whole entire life. And so if anyone deserves our love, it's us. And so if you have the magnitude at being simply as you are, so simple gets a bad rap in my opinion, because
Yes.
we all want to be so dynamic and so entertaining, but simplicity is beautiful because simplicity is real. Simplicity is raw. So if in your simplicity, in your rawness, you can help someone in that much of a capacity, I mean, that's amazing, man. I mean, that's very beautiful.
Mm. Yeah, no, it's something that the world can do. Anyone can do. It's not like I've got a purpose and that's what gets me going. Like I know in school, when we're talking about school, I think people that have been misdiagnosed or doctors misdiagnosed, that can really bugger up a kid's life. Because when you go to school and you've got these labels on yourself and teachers go, okay, I don't know how to teach that. Can you get him on medication to calm him down? A perfect example. Sir Ken Robinson, he's a TEDx speaker. This lady was very fidgety, very just, people thought she was ADHD or hyperactive or whatever. And she just wanted to dance. And people said, nah, she's too much for me, too much for me. And then the mum's like, no, she's not going on medication. So she went to a dance class and now she's in the Russian ballerina team.
Mm-hmm.
So if the doctor put her on medication, that could have changed her life into being someone that wasn't herself. She wanted to be a dancer, but the mother went against doctor's advice, went against everything and said, look, just give her a chance. Buy her shoes and see what that energy can go to. And there's so many stories like that I love listening to because I'm like, imagine if she was on medication, she would not be as ballerina. Like it just went.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And so to your point, what you're doing is going to help kids like that. What you're doing is creating a voice for people who feel like they have none. So when those situations start to occur, they'll hear your message, they'll see your story, and then they'll say, okay, there's a different way to go about this. If he can do it, I can do it. And it'll change the paradigm.
Yeah. And it's okay to fail. Like I used to be really bad at like being a perfectionist. And I'm learning about, I think she's American. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sarah Knight, if you've heard of her. She's an author of,
I'm not sure.
One of her books is The Subtle Art, I'm Not Giving a Fuck, and then Fuck No,
Okay.
about boundaries. So I'm learning about perfectionist, people pleasing, saying yes all the time. And all my life, I've always been, oh, yep, I'll do this for you and this and this and this again. And it just causes burnout. It really does. People don't understand that it's okay to say no to your mum or your best friend or even your wife. If you want to have time by yourself, that's completely natural. And I think in a world of saying yes, 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 like Jim Carrey, yes man, look what that got him.
Yep.
Nearly got him deported.
Yeah. That was a good movie. That was phenomenal. I laughed so hard in that movie. He was so good in that, man. That was awesome.
I'm just getting my phone charger.
No, no worries. Yeah, no worries.
Where's that come from? But yeah, no, it's there's so many good movies. Have a look at my my highlights on my Instagram when you can. It's about top 5 movies and books for mental health, and see if any can resonate with you. But there was a great movie by Ashton Kutcher, by The Butterfly Effect.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
I said to my dad, I'm like, what? Why is he going back? What's he doing? Why has that guy got no arms? Like, what the fuck? Like, I was so confused.
Yeah.
I was getting irritated.
Yeah, that was very good. That was there is in it, and it's nice to see that there are media items out there that are actually helping us to understand and be a little bit different, than what the normal perspective is. Whatever normal means, which normal is such bullshit, but
I hate that word.
Yeah, it's nice to see that there are some out of the box ideas that are starting to take hold in our society. So there's definitely hope. There's totally hope. So I think that's really good.
Yeah. Is there any books and movies that you really like, or that's changed your opinion, or made you kind of challenge yourself?
So Bagger Vance. So The Legend of Bagger Vance. It's actually about a golfer, and I'm not a golfer whatsoever. I tried it a few times, but it's just not for me. So it's with with Will Smith and Matt Damon, and it's phenomenal. And it's, at first, I watched it the first time probably 8 years ago, 10 years ago, and I
Okay.
was like, this isn't for me. I don't like this at all. And then I watched it again last year, and it just changed my perspective on the movie, of course, and about many different things, because Bagger Vance is a caddy. So it's Will Smith, and he's an African American guy. Will Smith, and this is placed back in the South in the day. And Matt Damon is an expat who just came back from the war, and he was very wealthy, and then he went off the tracks. But originally, he was a very, very good golfer. So Matt Damon gets offered a job as going in and playing a tournament against the two best pros at that time. Well, he doesn't have a caddy, and he's completely alcoholic, and he's miserable, and all of his war memories haunt him every single day.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so Will Smith plays Bagger Vance, and Bagger Vance ends up being his caddy. And what happened is this game that Will Smith keeps talking about, or Bagger Vance, it's actually the game of life. And as they go through the golf match, Matt Damon has to face his demons. He has to integrate himself. He has to face all aspects of his life and be with what he's done and who he is. And as we see the movie progress, we understand that Will Smith is whatever you want to call God, spirit, soul, omnipresent being, whatever it is that means to you. That's what Will Smith is in the movie, as a caddy, as, someone who comes from the lowliest places, but really is an amazing guide that always has your back, and always, no matter what the situation that occurs, creates the ability for understanding yourself and for growth. And so, I'll be completely honest here. I finished the movie and I bawled my eyes out. I had to go in the bathroom because my kids were around and they saw me tearing up. And they're like, "What's wrong, Dad?" I'm like, honestly, this movie has made me cry. And I am okay with that. And it's okay to cry. But they were like, why? They didn't understand at all, which is okay.
Yes,
It's okay that they
100%.
didn't understand. I mean, it's you have to be really paying attention to get that deeper message. But afterwards, I sat in the bathroom and I just sat with myself and go, wow, this is amazing. I have this backing no matter what. And so that movie for me was really, really good.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. That's an awesome recommendation. There's so many movies like Will Smith. I'm sure you've heard of it or watched it. The Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah.
That made me cry just about the kid, and he kept bringing his big his big computer and or printer system, and it just made me think of, do we actually work ourselves into a grave, or can we work smarter, or just being honest. And when he kept hustling, and I won't say hustling, sorry, when he kept hustling, and there's two words I like. I like about hustling, and I don't like about hustling. Hustling into a grave and burnout and just not good. And then there's also hustling when, for an example, following your passion. So like following up with people and connecting. I think we live in a world, if you work 80 hours a week, you get a dream home, a dream, what's the word? Barbie doll wife, you get the dream Bugatti. And this Instagram, there's so many Instagram accounts out there going, double tap if you want to be a millionaire, double tap if you want this. And I'm like, double tap if you just want to be happy.
Yep.
In your own life. Like, can we get that, please?
Yep.
Car's not going to get you fucking internal happiness. It'll get you internal debt.
Yep. For sure. Yeah, that's a good one, and that's a really good movie. Yeah, I agree with you. And yeah, it's important to shift that perspective. It's important to start helping people see that, you can create the environment of happiness right where you are. And if we can give people that ability, that can change people's lives more than telling them that they need $1 million to be happy.
Yeah. Russell Brand, big one. Huge. Ex-sex addict, ex-drug addict. My brother actually met him in England. And the security pushed him on the ground, and Russell Brand's like, "Come on, mate, get up." That's a really bad UK accent, but anyway. Governor, want some tea? Brodie, don't quit your day job if you had one. Um, but no, Russell Brand is a spiritual Gandhi, just like yourself. He has made his life into, you know, are you fucked up? It's called a book, and he talks about, it's so raw. I haven't read it properly, but I want to give myself that moment and that safe place to read it, because I don't like doing too much. Like, I've got probably 15 books I've read halfway. And if you told me, what's this book? I'm like, oh, crap. So that's my, I guess, what's a good word? I won't say setback, but I guess a barrier for me to work on is trying to do too much. Say if you read, let's go. Here it is. See if you can read that. It's the ADD Answer by Dr. Frank Lawless. I've had it for about 15 years. I've read about 10 pages. It got a bit too real for me. But if someone said, this is a great book, I'm like, oh, I should read it. Like, why am I listening to others? If that makes sense. So like, I'm kind of learning about my mind, and every person with ADHD is different. You can't, just like your sons, just because they have the same grades, they don't have the same mind and how they think. So it's very impactful.
And I think it's honoring yourself in, if you pick up that book and it gives you certain emotions or feelings, it's okay. Like, I did an exercise yesterday where I finished the book that I just read, and I had 3 books that were next. One of them, I read 5 pages of one, I put it down. I read 5 pages of another one, I put it down. I read 5 pages of another one, put it down. Well, it actually turned out I wasn't ready to read any of those, and I couldn't figure out why. But I honored myself. There was that thought of, you have to read one of these next, man. What are you doing? But I gave it space. And then the next morning, a book popped up on Amazon that I was thinking about for a while, and ended up being free on Kindle. And I started reading it, and I was like, oh, this is genius. Like, I really enjoy this book. Well, by following and honoring my intuitions, I call those intuitions. Like, if you feel things, you have the tendency to, as long as they're not those berating things, like, you're not enough, you suck, oh, be scared right now. If you feel things like, oh, this just doesn't seem right currently, if you can lean into those and start building those, then they'll grow. And so for me, a moment, happened where, oh, these 3 books don't work right now. And then the next book popped up the next morning. So I think honoring those sensations is really, really good to do, like you're doing.
Yeah. I just feel like I need to read the books, and I reckon you'll agree with me here, Brett. Like, every time someone is on an interview or they're talking, they've got a bookshelf of so many books and an inspirational bloody poster. I'm like, have you read any of those books? Because Australia is in a shitload of debt, and you should start reading a book, How to Unfuck Your Finances, please.
Oh, that's good, man.
So true. Everyone's like, hi, I'm Brodie, I'm Professor. I've got a bookcase. Do I read any? No. Do I look smart? Yes.
Yeah, it's all about the perceived notion of being a certain way. Yeah, it's such bullshit. Yeah, it is.
Like, if you saw me on the street, you probably wouldn't recognize me. You'd recognize my voice, but I don't dress the way the city person should dress. I don't look the way, I guess, men should look. And I love that. I love being different. I helped this lady on a bus the other week, and someone's like, hurry up. I'm like, no. She is elderly, and I'm helping her.
Yeah.
And I didn't do it for someone to take a photo and put me on bloody Ellen DeGeneres saying, a white boy helps an elderly. No, that's fucking normal. If your grandma was bloody out shopping, you'd hope someone helps her too.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's normalize that behavior. Like,
correct.
Come on.
Yep, totally. So that's really awesome of you. And then, you just look back at that person who's trying to get you to rush, and they probably never ever had that thought to help that person, and it makes them feel insecure and sad inside, and so they feel like they have to
Yes.
react. And
Yes.
it's just saying, okay, well, I recognize that in you. I'm not going to take it out on you, but hey, no, I'm not going to do that. I am doing what's right. I will stick by what I believe to be truth and
Mm.
moral. And I'm sorry you feel that way, but it's not going to change me because you feel that way. I'm still going to do what's right. So that's really good, man.
Yeah. It's those little things, little acts of kindness, like saying hello to someone and complimenting someone. Like they go, for an example, this is one of my friends did it. It was so funny. It was like, oh, you've got a nice watch. And the guy's like, huh? Like he thought he was getting robbed or something, you know, like someone got a nice watch and the other person comes to the other side and takes it. But he's just being nice, you know.
Right.
With our stigma of the world is like all cops are, you know, donut, bloody coffee, brutality, overweight people. But they're not.
Yep.
I've got my dad's brother. He's a cop. He's a detective in Sydney. Um, you know, and it's very interesting because I wanted to be a cop. I went through all the process. They said, I think it was 5 years. 5 years you had to be medically cleared. I've not seen any psychologist, psychiatrist. And the funniest thing my mum said, I think the police want to fuck you up, not they want to fuck you up to see how much stuff you've seen instead of all your life being fucked up. And I was like, that's
Yeah.
pretty true. You want to be
Jeez.
like, I'd be a good cop because I've got lived experience and I've talked about my dad's suicide. He's still alive, but he tried to take his life. I've seen my friends overdose on me. You know, I've seen things that police see, like domestic violence, suicide, theft. And I
Yeah.
think for me, I would be a great cop, but it's not in my calling because one, why would you have to be counseled free? Because if I was a cop admin, I would want to have someone that's dealing with their emotions.
Yep.
So many cops are taking their lives and no one's battering an eye.
Yep.
But yeah, no, that's just not for me, Brett. I'm excited to do this wellness workshops and retreats. And once I do get, I won't say big, but once I feel comfortable having that as my full-time job, I'd love to have you on there virtually, face-to-face. I think it'd be so cool in a few years' time or whatever to have this chat now, to post it, and then 2 years' time to where you are and where we are.
Yeah, man. That sounds really good. I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah, I think that's really cool. I really appreciate your time. I think this is a fantastic conversation. And I
Yeah,
even
thank
think
you.
like, yeah, I think like even like 6 months from now, 3 months from now, 2 months from now, you know, we
Yeah,
just circle back around and just have a chat again. And I
yeah,
think
lovely.
this would be really good. And I'm looking forward to what you're going to do. And I know that you're going to do amazing things. And I appreciate, you know, this conversation and who you are.
No, thank you so much. That means so much to me. Like, it really does. So, like, um, I was a bit nervous. I was like, oh God, unmute this, do this. Oh, Brett, what's this? Like, and that's good. And that's good anxiety. I wanted to end that on that note. So, there's good anxiety. So having this conversation, being scared, being vulnerable, opening up, it can really open doors that you wouldn't think of.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope a lot of people get a lot out of it. So basically just tell the viewers how they find you as well on
Yes.
Instagram. And
Yeah, so you just go to my Instagram page, and if you want to work with me, anybody who hears this and just mentions that they heard this, you know, from the Wellness Guy conversation, usually I'm $95 a session, and the first session, introductory session, will be free. So free session for anybody who's trying to get into movement and breath work. And honestly, what I do, Brodie, is I'm a coach. Like, I'm a personal coach, and my modality is yoga and breath work. And so I am not some dude wearing tight pants telling you to do some crazy pretzel. I am somebody that is real, who knows and can understand and sympathize with where anyone is at their certain life point. And if you're trying to reach a goal, whether it's to be calmer, whether you're an athlete and you want to have better focus, whether you have so much anxiety that you don't know what to do with it, I can help you get from where you are to where you want to be. And if I can't, I'll find somebody that can. But
Wow.
my goal is to help people to
Mm.
find a way to be their truest selves and to be genuine. And I figured out steps in a program that combine movement and breath work to do that. So on Instagram, if you want to schedule a session or just reach out to me via DM, if you're feeling like, hey, this is really for me, you can also just go right on my site on the Instagram link. And I have a 6-week immersion program where I take people from their foundation all the way towards owning their power. And that's my real offer. That's a program where people can grow so much in only a 6-week time, because it's a step-by-step way to create a foundation, to integrate your emotions, to change your self-talk and how you deal with your external world, and then utilize all those things to create power within yourself. That is good power, that is compassionate power, that is power that can create focus and do good things for you, your family, and the world.
Well, if that didn't motivate you to get on to follow Brett, then I don't know what would, honestly. And look, when I'm in a better financial position, I am going to try it myself, and I want to let viewers know what it's like, because I'm not just randomly connecting with people. I connect with a purpose. I follow everybody that is, obviously I'm the wellness guy, and there's so much wellness in mental health, in meditation, Reiki, energy, tarot readings, whatever. There's so much. So I just wanted to thank you, Brett, for your time. I spoke to you for an hour and a half, and I feel like, what time is it? What day is it? So it was a pleasure talking to you, because normally when I get distracted, which I do, I just go over it. So we've spoken about so much, and this video will be able to rewatch. And I appreciate you making this Zoom happening. And it was an honor to speak to you. And I am so glad that I connected with you. So thank you so much.
You're welcome, brother. I really appreciate your time, and I look forward to talking to you soon.
All right. Thanks, Brett. All the best.
All right, man. See you.
Have a good night.